Hey yo guys. So I was just kind of thinking about something very weird, very strange. The fact that I exist, the fact that there's no meaning to life, the fact that I just don't know what am I doing here. I'm just walking right now and I'm just thinking, for what? Like, I'm gonna die one day. The universe is going to explode one day into nothingness. And everything I do ultimately doesn't have any meaning. It doesn't have any purpose, doesn't have any mission, doesn't have any end all be all in terms of raw love, in terms of raw meaning in life, which is pleasure. Because hedonism is the meaning of life. The meaning of life is pleasure. Yet, I don't know what am I doing here because nothing which I'm doing leads me to the goal of finding pleasure. It always leads to the same feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of nothingness, the feeling of meaninglessness that I cannot escape. And it's the same all the time. So many guys, so many people, they are obsessed with self-improvement and grinding and being better than others and having a lot of money, having a lot of status, having a lot of fame. But for me personally, none of these things never had any meaning. Not because these things didn't matter, just because universally I never saw an infinite meaning in them, because eventually everything is going to end, right? Think about it, everything you accomplish is going to end one day. So why bother? Why bother with all those stuff? Why bother with, gaining reputation, becoming successful, becoming, respected person? It's all going to fade one day. And nothing makes sense because at the end of the day, we all die. We all die one day. We all go into nothingness. We came from nothing, we go back to nothing. Yet this thought, although it is nihilistic, it is the reality. That's the most likely that's going to happen. When you die, it's just going to be either nothingness, or there might be some other theory to explain what happens when you die, but most likely it's going to be nothingness. Most likely it's going to be just a complete void of sensation, emotions, and ideas, and perceptions. So there's nothing really positive about this, but it is also not bad because suffering will not exist. So yeah, that's really what I'm trying to say. But anyway, because right now I was really thinking about also the fact that so many guys, are so competitive, and we are also status driven, and we all want to be on top of the social hierarchy. But really, when you think about it, this social hierarchy does nothing but destruction, because to be above someone, you have to put them down. And life is too meaningless to be putting other people down, because life is not, the meaning of life is not to put others down, but to uplift them, to make their lives better, to make their hedonic tones higher, whatever that means. But I know what it means personally for me, and I understand this concept very well. But most people will never reach this conclusion because we're also stuck in the fragmented reality, in the social hierarchy reality, instead of just looking at the big picture. It's nothing really matters. It's all fucking pointless. Why bother with this fucking bullshit? Because, eventually it's all going to end, so why don't we work on improving, each other's lives, uplifting other people up instead of tearing them down, instead of being insecure about it and really just kind of hoping other people will fail. Because when you live like this, you live in a constant state of anxiety and in a constant state of inadequacy. And that makes your life worse. And that makes other people's lives worse, because to put someone up, to put yourself up, right, you have to put others down. So yeah, that's what I personally think. And so really, the goal of life should be to improve the lives of everyone. But yet society will never reach this conclusion because we're also obsessed with being better than each other. And, that's why wars are happening, and so much violence, and so much, aggression and abuse, and verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. It's just, the list goes on, right? You can just tell the way I speak that I don't think people and things in this reality will ever get better, because look at what we've done. Look at what we've done to the world. We literally just created economy. That's just like one thing. The second thing is like there are still like fucking like millions of people, suffering from diseases and mental illnesses, and like we still haven't fixed those. We still haven't addressed any of those. Like, yeah, there are some illnesses we addressed, but again, like the science is just too fucking slow, and I just want the science to speed up the progress so we can reach at least like immortality and like some kind of like, ultimate accomplishment of our existence, of our well-being. So yeah, that's what I think. Let me know what you think.